Alright, so in this video we are going to start talking about other user interface components. In this case, I'll show you how to use a slider. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a new project. So say File, New, Project. I'm going to go ahead and it's going to be a single view application. I'm going to just call this Slider. Everything is good, Swift. Say Next, Create. And there we have it. Now we have our application. We're going to go ahead to main storyboard here. So at the bottom here, we're going to go ahead and say slider. And there it is. You can click on it. It gives you a little bit of information about the slider. So you can read this. So done. And let's go ahead and drag and drop over here somewhere. That's all good. While we're here, let's go ahead and change this to 4.7 so it's a little bit more manageable. Let's align this over there. While we're here, let's get a label. Enter, and there it is. Let's put right about here. Oh, that's perfect. Make it a little bit bigger, and let's align it. There we go, it's centered. So we have our slider and we have a label here. Let's get rid of this text so it's empty. That's good. Let's close our left pane there so we have more space, and let's go ahead use our assistant editor here so we can split both our user interface and the code. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and connect our slider with our code. So there's another thing you can do in order to connect our user interfaces with our code. We usually click on the item and say Control and drag, right? But I also notice here I have a mouse here. I notice also you can also just go right click, and guess what? You get the same results. And let go, and there you have it. Okay, so either way, it's fine. The first thing we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna say it's an outlet. We're gonna call this a slider. Type is gonna be slider, say connect. Now we have our slider variable here, which connects to our slider. And next we are gonna click on it again and say Control, or right click on your mouse, but let's go ahead and say Control just in case. Bottom here, so go ahead and let go. In this case, let's make it an action because we want to be able to track value as you slide left or right in our slider here. Now here for type, change it to slider, okay? And let's name this slider value change. And go ahead and say connect. And as you can see here, let me make this a little bit bigger. Perfect. And I think we can close the right pane to have more space. All right, so as you can see here, we now have our slider value change function, which will naturally keep track of our slider here as we slide left or right and changing values. Now, to make sure this is working, let's go print something inside here. Let's say hello. Let's go ahead, save and run this. And there it is. Naturally, if we move this, we should see hellos happening at the bottom here as we slide left and right. All right, so there's a lot of hellos. Perfect, so at least we know things are connected and are working. But our goal here is to actually get the values of our slider. So let's go back here and open our right pane here, just to show you a few of attributes we can set to our slider here. If you look to the right and you have the inspector selected here, you'll notice that we can actually change values we want to display, right? So you can say value 0 minimum or to 1, right? We can change if you want to for it to display 0 to 10, and also you can change which default value should be shown on your slider. In this case, let's go start from 0 like that. As you can see now, 0 through 10. Good. All right. Let's close that again. Now let's go ahead and we have our label somewhere here. There's our label. Let's go ahead and connect our label also inside here. So let go. It's going to be label, show value. That's fine. UI label. That's good. So now we have those variables all set up there for us. The reason why we have this label here is we want to be able to, as we change the values, as we slide left or right on our slider here, we want to show the values in our label. All of this has to happen inside of our slider value change. Here inside here, let's go ahead and say print, say values. Let's concatenate. Let's go ahead and say slider.value. So what are we saying here? We want to display at the bottom here these values which we are getting from our slider as we slide left and right. Save this, run. All right, so there it is. Give it a try, and there you have it. So it says 1.9 and all those values there. Now you may ask yourself, well, we said earlier that we actually want from 0 to 10, and it's showing here these float numbers. The reason being is because the slider.value returns float numbers. If we wanted to see just integers instead of floats, we could just go inside here and say int. So what are we doing here? We are actually changing the value from float to integers. If we save this, stop and run again, we should now be able to see whole numbers. Okay, there it is. Let's go ahead and move things around. As you can see, there it is. It's showing all the numbers. Perfect. Obviously, this is not the end game here. We actually want to be able to show in our label here these values as they change. So what we need to do is say show value. Remember again, show value is our UI label here, which is the label we put in our storyboard to the left, right? Dot text, because that's the attribute we want to change, is equal to slider.value. And right away, we're going to have issues here. If you click on this, you cannot assign a value of type float to a value of type string. So what is happening here? What it's saying is that, well, show value.text here expects a string, and we are passing a float. So these two types clearly are not compatible. So we need to convert this float here into a string, which will then be able to be displayed in our show value label. We are going to say string, and then we are going to say inside here, we're going to say string interpolation segment here, as you can see there. Say enter. We pass our slider.value. So essentially what are we saying here? We are invoking the string class, which comes with our Xcode here. And then we are passing, of course, the slider.value, which, as we have spoken earlier, returns a float number, which comes from when we slide our slider left or right. All right, so this is all what's happening here. Now let's save this and run again. And okay, there it is. Let's try it out. Oh, there we go. Perfect. The same thing we can do as we did here, because we wanted just to see whole numbers. We can go ahead inside here, just say int. Again, we're converting whatever we have there. And let's close this. There we go. So now whatever we're getting here is being converted into an integer. So let's save again and run. We should be able to see whole numbers now. So look at that. The other thing I would like to point out is if you look inside of this function here, so it says func slider value change, has sender, which is of type UI slider. So if this sender here, which has been passed inside of our function here, is of type slider, this type slider obviously is this slider here, which coincidentally is the whole slider that we put in our storyboard. So we can infer, we can actually get the same value from slider, which we're using slider.value. We could actually just say sender.value and change it here to sender.value. Let's see if that's gonna work. There it is. So as you can see, same difference. So there's no difference at all whether we use the sender, which has been passed inside of our slider value change, or we use the instance here slider as we put outside here. And you may ask, well, why do we even bother to create this variable here of slider here outside if we can just use what's inside here? Very good question. One of the reasons, and of course we haven't really talked about scope and anything else, but one of the reasons why we actually we created our variable slider outside here is that so that we are able to actually fetch this slider value here anywhere else outside our function here. Meaning I could go here inside of our view.load and I could say slider.value. In fact, let me say print slider.value. All right, and save. Let's see what's going to happen here. Notice right away what we have here, 0.0, because that's the current value the slider is on before we even touched it. So now we have access to the value of the slider anywhere in this scope here. And we'll talk more about scope later, but just want to give you a little heads up. And the other thing we could do with this information that we just learned here is that, let's say if we wanted to have a button here at the bottom to where when you clicked, it just showed the current value of our slider. Well, it would be impossible for us to get the current value of our slider, especially if we're outside of our slider value changed. This sender here holds the value of our slider, but it can only be used inside here, not outside. So let's go ahead and put a button here real quick and see this thing in action. Let's go ahead and say button. There's a button there. Let's go ahead and put somewhere around here. Perfect. Let's close this. We have more space. Let's go ahead and connect our button here. It's an action. Show value, let's say show current value, that's all good. We could change this to UI button because it's a button, doesn't matter. All right, so there we go. So now let's say if we wanted to, when you click this button, we want to show here the current value of our slider. Because now what we can do, we can actually reference this slider here because it's outside of our methods, our functions. We can say print current value is, and I'm gonna append, say slider dot value. And of course, we wanna make sure it's an integer. So say int, save it, and let's stop and run again. Okay, so as you can see, because we have slider here at the bottom, slider dot value, we're printing it out. That's why we still see 0.0 here, right, on view.load. But notice something is gonna happen here. If we click, current value is 0, which is true. Let's move this a little bit. It's 3. Let's click again. It says current value is 3. All right. You see now the beauty of having created this slider outside, right? You can see here. So as you can see, we can fetch the value as we slide our slider. Click the button and it fetches the current value. Great. So now you've learned how to use sliders and how to display values from sliders and change them from floats to integers, and also how to fetch current slider values and display those as well. All right, good job, and I'll see you in the next video.